Alright, so let's just get this out of the way, bro. You clicked this video because you're trying to impress that 4'11" Latina that you work with. Am I right or am I wrong? Well, I'm gonna drop some game, man, on how you can learn Spanish fluently and fast, para que puedan aprender rapidísimo y también puedes impresionarla y mejor que eso, a lo mejor puedes salir juntos, no sé, pero ¿está bien contigo? Okay. Dale. All right, tip number 1, man, we're gonna jump right into it. Learn basic words and phrases. This is like literally the foundation of your learning when it comes to Spanish. So I want you to create a vocabulary list in the notes app of your phone, and I want you to constantly be adding new words to that list. I'm gonna give you 10 quick ones, so make sure you screenshot these. ¿Cómo te llamas? And this just means, what's your name? ¿Cómo estás? This means, how are you? Obviously, this is like really basic for most people, but here's how you can sound a little bit more native, I guess you could say. You could say, ¿Cómo estamos? Which means, how are we? It's a little bit more, you know, instead of the classic everyone hears, oh, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? You can say, ¿Cómo estamos? Walk into a room, hey, ¿Cómo estamos? Yeah? And it's like, all right, cool, this dude knows what he's talking about, bro. You can say, ¿Cómo va tu día? How's your day going, right? These are little phrases where you can put a little spice on it. Estoy bien, which means I'm good, because if someone flips it back on you, you say, I'm good, how are you? You say, estoy bien. Todo bien. You can say, todo bien también. You can say, todo bien, everything's good, you know? Todo bien. Hey, they say, ¿Cómo estás? Todo bien. ¿Cómo se dice? Which is going to be a one that you're going to use damn near every freaking day, especially in the beginning. And ¿Cómo se dice just means, how do you say this? All right, so next is ¿Qué significa? ¿Qué significa is one you're going to also use a lot during your day, because ¿Qué significa literally means, what does this mean, right? So if someone says a word or something that you don't understand, you can say ¿Qué significa? Like if they say, pásame el micrófono, you say, micrófono. ¿Qué significa eso? What does that mean? Or ¿Qué significa? You can repeat the word. You say ¿Qué significa micrófono? They're saying, oh yeah, I'm trying to say, give me the microphone. Micrófono is microphone, right? And they'll explain it. So ¿Qué significa is another one that you're probably going to use pretty often. Con permiso. Con permiso basically just means excuse me, right? So if you're talking to somebody and, you know, another person jumps into your conversation and you now want to exit the conversation because you're going to let them talk, you look at them, you say con permiso, and you just walk out, right? That's just meaning like excuse me, right? Or if two people are already talking and you have to pass through them to, you know, get to the other side of the room or whatever, you say con permiso, and you just kind of, you know, skedaddle through there. All right, next one that you're going to be using every damn day in the beginning, no entiendo. That means I don't understand. Or you can say no comprendo. That also means I don't understand. So if you're, you know, talking to somebody and you don't know what the flip they just said, you say yo no entiendo, con permiso. Or you can put it all together if you want to. No entiendo, right? No comprendo. That just means I don't understand. Screenshot that hoe. Next, mucho gusto, which just means nice to meet you. You'll be using that pretty often. Number 9, hasta luego. Like if you're at a party and now it's time to leave, you say hasta luego, hasta mañana, which means I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see you later. And last but not least, because you probably learned this in elementary school, but ¿Dónde está el baño? I'm telling you, bro, you don't want to be in a position where you don't know where the freaking bathroom is at, and you're in a Mexican restaurant and all the freaking staff speak Spanish and they're looking at you like, what do you mean, where's the bathroom? Why didn't you just say ¿Dónde está el baño, right? So anyways, ¿Dónde está el baño means where's the bathroom? ¿Dónde está el baño ahora? Necesito ir ahora mismo. So anyways, tell them that, they'll escort you to the bathroom and you'll make sure you don't pee on yourself. Okay, next is the Spanish version of who, what, when, where, and why. Let's go. ¿Quién? ¿Qué? ¿Dónde? ¿Cuándo? ¿Por qué? ¿Cómo? ¿A qué hora? ¿Cuánto? ¿Y cuántos? 2 different freaking words. Please don't mess that up. All right, so there are some basic words and phrases for you, man. But let me give you tip number 2, and that is to learn how to conjugate verbs. This is probably the most important freaking tip I can give you. Seriously. All right, so there's only 3 different types of verbs, right? Verbs that end in AR, verbs that end in ER, and verbs that end with IR. Now, once you learn how to conjugate AR verbs, IR verbs, ER verbs, you can literally conjugate any verb in Spanish. Crazy powerful, I'm telling you. This is a hack right here. Like, let me give you an example. The verb estar in español, right? That means to be. So when you say ¿Cómo estás? That means how, like, it's like how are you, right? Estás means are you. If I say ¿Cómo estamos? That's how are we. If I say ¿Cómo están? It's meaning how are you guys? So you can literally conjugate freaking every single verb if you just learn how to conjugate verbs that end in AR, IR, and ER, and they're all gonna conjugate the same. Tip number 3, baby, watch TV and movies in Spanish. This is a freaking game changer, bro. Like, the fastest way to learn Spanish is to fully immerse yourself in the language. You can watch movies, watch TV, watch YouTube interviews, listen to Spanish music, like download all that stuff and fully immerse yourself. Like, you should feel like you're in Mexico or in Venezuela. I don't want to be in Venezuela, or Colombia or Puerto Rico, whatever, bro. Just you need to like really be soaking in the language on all fronts. So 2 little tips within that tip I just gave you. When it comes to watching movies, when you're watching the movie, put subtitles on, but don't put subtitles in English. Put subtitles in Spanish, because it's going to force you to not only be hearing learning the language, but you're also going to learn how to read the language. And when they're saying the words, you might see a word on there that you don't recognize, which is likely if you're just learning Spanish. But you can now look up or Google what that word means in Spanish, and now you're learning vocabulary, listening to the language, reading the language. Like, you're using a lot of different skills at one time, and it's going to help expedite the learning curve for you. And next little micro tip within that tip is when you're watching YouTube interviews. YouTube interviews are just as powerful, if not more powerful, than watching movies in Spanish, because interviews, you can watch people in real time, like how native speakers actually speak when they're asked questions, right? So you look up a favorite artist that you have, or a favorite actress or actor, and you can watch their interviews in Spanish. Like, I remember when I found out Zoe Saldana spoke Spanish.
Me siento bendecida de que fui parte de algo tan bonito y que cambió tanto, no solamente rompiendo récord monetario, pero también una historia que por lo más sencilla que haya sido, tocó a los corazones de tantas personas alrededor del mundo.
She speaks Spanish, excuse me, so beautifully, man, with that accent. And obviously, she's beautiful. So I'll be watching the interview and I'd just be locked in, watching her, listening, and it was just awesome. And I felt like I learned a lot from listening to a native speaker speak. All right, tip number 4, man, don't be afraid to be wrong. Fastest way to learn Spanish is to be okay with making mistakes. You're not gonna be perfect, bro. You're not Nicki Jam or Shakira or whoever. You are not a native speaker, so it's okay to make mistakes. That should make you feel even more comfortable because you don't have the pressure of getting everything right. Tip number 5, man, and I kind of touched on this in the beginning of the video, but the tip is to constantly be learning new vocabulary words. Like, I'm saying you should literally download a dictionary app, a Spanish dictionary app, and throughout your day, when you see something, you should look it up and be like, okay, how would you say that in Spanish? Constantly, and I mean constantly, be obsessed with looking up new vocab words and what they mean, because these vocab words are going to help string together with you learning how to conjugate verbs. It's going to string together with the grammar that you're learning. Now you're going to be able to put sentences together, but if you don't have any vocab words to describe what you're talking about, then you're stuck in the mud. So constantly, and I mean constantly, be adding new vocab words. And last but not least, tip number 6, man, use apps to further cement the language in your mind. My favorite apps were Duolingo, because it was fun, like a game, and it was a way to keep myself accountable. Every single day I'd play for at least 30 minutes or so. And as you get more advanced in the game, it's going to teach you how to form sentences grammatically, how to conjugate verbs in the past tense, future tense, all that stuff. So Duolingo was really cool. I like that one a lot. And then also italki. I think they're still around. I haven't used it for a long time. But italki is a website where you can basically talk to native speakers around the world. You can talk to people from Spain, people from Cuba, people from Puerto Rico, whatever dialect or country you'd like to learn from, they have a tutor in that area. So italki was a really good one. Learning how to have conversations and talk with native speakers is how it's going to freaking speed up that freaking learning curve for you. You're gonna be a freaking gangster and sound like Bad Bunny in no time. So anyways, I hope those tips helped. So this video was how to learn Spanish faster, but if you want me to make a video on how to sound more like a native speaker, let me know in the comments. I got you, brother. All right, my dude, I hope you enjoy your vacation in Colombia or the Dominican Republic. Enjoy yourself, King.